Now, according to the Better Business Bureau, 40% of donations are made during the last few weeks of the year. And if you're planning on donating on this Giving Tuesday, you want to make sure your information does not get compromised. Kristen Johnson from the Better Business Bureau serving Connecticut joins us tonight. Thank you so much. First question for you, Kristen. What type of things should you consider before making any kind of donation?
Well, as you mentioned, 40% of donations are going to be given during the next few weeks. Scammers know that our hearts grow a little bit bigger during the holiday season. Our wallets open up a bit wider. And that's why we need to be so cautious and make sure that our money is going into the right hands. You really want to be cautious, especially if you receive any sort of unsolicited request for your payment information, when that's accompanied by the pressure to give. Remember, any legitimate organization and charity will take your donation as much tomorrow as it will today. So if they're not giving you the opportunity to do your research, to ask the pertinent questions, that's a big red flag.
And Kristen, other than unsolicited requests for donations or money of any kind, what are other things people should be on the lookout for when they plan on making these donations?
So you want to look at their website. You want to make sure they have working contact information, a legitimate address. They should be able to answer questions like how much of my donation is going to expenses and fundraising, and how much of that money will go to those who actually need it to where it's intended to go. If they can't answer those questions, if their answers are vague, that is a red flag. Now, you always want to do your research when you're spending your money, whether it's online shopping or making a donation. If you go to give.org, BBB actually accredits charities just like it does businesses. And there's 20 different standards they have to meet. So that's a really good place to start. You can look up that charity at give.org and see if it is accredited. And then, go to their website. You can see the pertinent information, like how much their executives make, how much their expenses are, that sort of thing. But you definitely you want to do your research. You want to make sure that your money, your hard-earned money, is going to where you intend it to go.
And lastly, Kristen, who's typically the most vulnerable when it comes to falling for these scams during the holiday season?
Probably those who have the biggest hearts, right? Those who aren't going to take the time to do their research first. If a charity's if they're not going to take a credit card, if they want you to use a peer-to-peer app or a mobile app, that's a red flag, because peer-to-peer apps are supposed to be used with those with your peers. So you want to make sure that they're taking a credit card, so that if you get charged more than you intended to donate, you can go back to your credit card company and say, hey, I think I've been scammed, that sort of thing. But I would say all of us during this busy holiday season, when we have our minds in 20 different places, are vulnerable to these kinds of scams.
So true. Kristen Johnson from the Better Business Bureau serving Connecticut. Thank you so much for your insight. We really appreciate it.